You're listening to the Breakaway Wealth Podcast, the show that helps you build wealth faster, think outside the box, and break out of the herd. Here's your host, Jim Oliver.
Welcome back, Breakaway Wealth. I'm your host, Jim Oliver, and today we're continuing our series on having the best 2026 ever, right? So today's episode 4, designing your life so success is automatic. Now, what if success could be automatic? What would you do? What would your goals be? Would they be bigger or smaller if you don't think they're automatic? The bottom line is that most people think that they fail because of lack of discipline, but that's not true. They fail because their environment is perfectly designed for distraction. Think about it. If willpower worked, then you wouldn't need another podcast. You'd already be there. Willpower doesn't work. Your environment always beats willpower. And the missing link for high performers, this is it. Okay, so there's science. Willpower is finite. Decision fatigue is real. Environment quietly dictates behavior. Your environment. Now think about this for a second. If you're hanging out at McDonald's or Chick-fil-A, what is that environment promoting? It's promoting you to be overweight, to be unhealthy. I mean, think about it. They put 55 ingredients in a McDonald's milkshake. 55 when there needs to be 3. Why? Texture, etc., probably to addict you to that. It's different than any other milkshake that's made with 3 ingredients. That's a bad environment. But if you're hanging out at the gym, and even if you're overweight and you're at the gym and you're at the gym and you're at the gym, pretty soon your environment will motivate you to change your behavior, which we talked about changes your identity, not habits and willpower. So Dan Sullivan says your environment is either a drag on your future or a tailwind. Now, since we started Create Tailwind, you know we want a tailwind. A tailwind pushes you along. So your environment, if you have the positive environment, pushes you towards your goals and your new identity. So this environment is really, really important. Tony Robbins says, change your state, change your environment, change your life. Simple. Okay, so in episodes 1 through 3, we're about who you're becoming. Now this episode is about removing friction so that identity can win. And your environment can be friction. Core principle here. You do not rise to your intentions. You fall to your default settings. So defaults decide what you eat, what you focus on, how you spend money, how you grow or stall. Who designed your defaults? Okay, you have to be your engineer in 2026 for this. Okay, there are 3 environments that you have to engineer for 2026. And I'm going to walk you through each one of these one by one. The first one is physical. That's environment number 1. Okay. Your body responds, your body responds before your mind can argue. Okay. So what does that mean? Okay. Here's the design rules on that. What you see first in the morning matters. And you know, when I wake up, I make my bed, I go to the bathroom, I look in the mirror, right? I mean, I do it every day. So what the first thing that I see, and then I don't weigh myself like all the time, but I just like if I think that I look skinnier or if I'm retaining water or something, then I weigh myself. Also, what is within arm's length gets used. Okay, so what I mean by that, if you're going to do a journal, you're going to read your Bible, if it's not within arm's length, it's not going to get used. Okay, so in 2026, what are the things that you want? Okay, and then what's hidden stops existing. So if your Bible is in your bookshelf, guess what? You're not going to read it. And it's got to be out and about with you, within arm's length. Okay, so here's an example. Phone stays outside the bedroom. Have you ever tried that? Put it in your bathroom, put it in the kitchen, and just be done with it. And your journal and a big glass of water is visible when you wake up. And the first thing you'll do is you'll grab that journal, you'll grab that water, and just try this for 90 days or even a month. is just have 20 ounces of water on the side of your bed, drink it first thing. When you drink it, it wakes up your brain. Then you have your journal. As soon as it wakes up your brain, write down 3 things that you're grateful for. Write down 3 things that you want to do today. Write down 3 things that are non-negotiables today. Write down 3 things, 3 things, 3 things. So behavioral science says visibility plus proximity equals usage. So why aren't we doing that? 2026, we're going to. Okay, we're going to do it. So the second environment is digital. This is where people bleed potential. Your phone is not neutral. It's programmed to steal your attention. It's programmed to steal your attention. So here's the design rules for that. Notifications are permissions. So if you have those things, all these notifications popping up, you're giving it permission to interrupt your thinking, your focus, your life. Apps shape your identity. What apps are on your phone that are negative? If there's any negative that you're just scrolling mindlessly, wasting time, get rid of them. Algorithms reward reactivity. They want you to be reactive, right? I mean, how many times have you seen something? I've got knives over here. They're cool knives, but that was a total reaction. And you know what? They were really smart. They overnight those things to you. You don't want to know what they charge for shipping. But I was like, I don't care because look how cool these knives are. Look how this guy's cutting through this steak. I know you guys have seen this. If I didn't look at it, I wouldn't have those knives over there, but they're there. Remove social apps from your home screen. Okay, I'm not saying remove all your social apps, okay, but not on your home screen. And no notifications before noon. You can schedule those, none before noon. And then your calendar will block, you have to have calendar blocks for deep work only. Like block out calendar time to think, to plan, to write in your bullet journal or whatever you use, okay? You have to do this. And Dan Sullivan says, complexity creates paralysis. Simplicity creates momentum. Now, think about that. It totally makes sense. Okay. This is one that people get messed up, is environment number 3. That's your social. This is one non-negotiable, is you become like who you listen to, who you tolerate, and who you explain yourself to. And Tony Robbins says proximity is power. So think about the 5 people that you hang around with the most, okay? Or the people that you hang around with the most in 5 years, that's who you're going to be. Whether it's 5 people or 3 people or whatever it is. Do you like those people? Do you want to become those people? Because you will. Now, what if you could control that social environment and hang around with people you really want to become? So in this environment, the design rules are fewer people, higher standards. The more that you water out the people you hang out with and that are truly your friends, the more you water it down and you start to accept things that maybe you don't want in your environment. No emotional chaos. People that are chaotic in their personal lives consistently. I mean, we all go through things, okay? I'm not saying, you're going through adversity, like I'm out. It's not what I'm saying. But you know the people I'm talking about, constantly in chaos. And here's my least favorite people in the whole world. Energy vampires. No energy vampires. You cannot let them in your environment. If somebody is draining your energy and constantly bringing, then that's not a person to have in your life. It's just not. If someone constantly pulls you backwards, the relationship is already voted, right? I mean, the people that I'm talking about. You have to get rid of those people. I remember when I was a teenager and I was hanging out with what most people would consider not great kids, right? I wasn't a great kid. But, they'd say, well, you got to stop hanging out with people like that. And I'd say, well, who do you want me to hang out with? I don't fit into those people. And I don't fit in. It was an excuse, right? Change your environment with the people that you hang out with, your social environment, your circle of friends. Upgrade 2026. Anybody that's got to go, energy vampires, negative people, losers, out. Okay. All right. Number 5 is the friction formula. And this is really the heart of this episode. This is where science meets execution. So here's the rule. Make the wrong behavior harder, make the right behavior easier. What do I mean? Well, let me give you some examples first. Junk food requires effort. Healthy food is visible. So don't have junk food in your house. Make it to where you got to go get it. I'm not saying don't have potato chips or chips and salsa while you're watching football, but make it to where you got to go to the store and get it. Because guess what? A lot of times you won't. And if you do, have those chips, have that chips and salsa, and then throw the bag away. Do not eat the whole bag. And if you leave it in your pantry, you're going to eat it tomorrow. So now you got 2 days of eating like crap. Scrolling requires passwords. Reading doesn't. So have books. There's no password. The entry is easy. Open the book, start reading. Spending requires friction. And investing is automatic. Make it to where the things that you're doing, like your premium, like your capitalization for your infinite banking system, make that automatic. And if you have to spend something, don't put in the automatic password or the automatic credit card. Make it to where you got to type in the credit card. I know it seems like a small thing, but it will make a difference. So BJ Fogg says behavior happens when motivation, ability, and prompt align. Okay, you control ability and prompt through environment. Okay, so think about that. Motivation, ability, and what prompts that align. So your ability and prompt, control that through your environment. Make it easy. I'm not saying you have to have this great willpower and, this person has more willpower, Jim, than me and this. No. You create that in your environment. If you're sitting at the gym and you didn't want to work out today and you see somebody working out really hard, guess what? You'll work out harder. And then you see somebody getting a protein shake after their workout, or they're drinking a gallon of water during their workout or whatever. I mean, all the things that you see in the gym. And by the way, don't go to the gym where a bunch of old people are sitting there on the treadmill. Go to the gym where people that look like you want to look. I remember I went to this gym, and it's like this functional training gym, and it's in our neighborhood. The guy that owns it's in our neighborhood. Everything else, people are like, "Oh, you go to X?" And I go, "Yeah." And then I after a year, I'm thinking I'm not looking like I want to look, and I thought to myself, is there anybody that comes into this gym that's over 50 that I want to look like? And guess what? The answer was no. I had the wrong environment. So I started going to a gym where I met a guy that was my age, and he was ripped, and he was jacked. And I was like, okay, I'm in the right spot. Now I have the right environment. And I started talking to this dude. What are you doing? Blah, 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 blah. Started talking about protein, talking about macros, that's the environment that changed my body, because I was at the wrong gym. They were arrogant. Yeah, for sure. They were expensive. Yeah, for sure. But there was no one that walked into that gym that I wanted to look like. Why am I in that environment? When you walk into McDonald's, do you walk in and go, man, I want to look like that. I want to look like that guy at Chick-fil-A, that woman here, that. No, you don't. Okay. So here's the 2026 reset exercise. Okay. You have to do this. Okay. I'm going to give you step by step. There's 4 steps. This is how we're wrapping this up. Okay. Excuse me. Identify the behavior sabotaging 2026. One behavior, be honest. Okay. That's step 1. Then ask yourself, what environment allows this? Not blame, design. What environment allows this? Remove one frictionless pathway. Delete it. Move it. Make it harder. All those things I just said about like notifications or typing in a credit card number, whatever it is. And then here's the magic, okay? Install one automatic support. Preload success. Tiny changes, massive leverage. Okay, so what's the example of that? Is the water in your journal on your nightstand, your workout clothes on your bench in your bedroom, right? My workout clothes are laid out with shoes, socks. It's automatic, right? And then if your coffee maker is one that you got to prep the night before, have it prepped if you're going to drink coffee before. Know what you're going to eat before you go work out. Know what time you're going to work out. I go to my trainer 4 days a week because it's automatic. I'm paying her. I have to go, right? If you make these things automatic, they'll happen. If you make them where there's friction, like, oh, did I wash the clothes that I needed to wash to work out today? I don't know. Is it cold? Is it hot? I don't know what I'm going to wear. Like I remember up north, those cold mornings, right? And you're like, do I really want to work out today? Well, I guess what? If you're paying somebody, if you're paying $100 an hour, $50 an hour, even if I was paying $30 an hour, I'm showing up for that workout. Okay. I'm frugal. I'm not paying somebody for nothing. And so, so if you think about your day and your environment today, right? I know it's not 2026 yet, or it's getting real close though, right? Is what would it look like for success? What would the environment look like? What would the systems, the automatic things in your life? It could be made your breakfast the night before, right? Just to make it automatic. Food prep is changing your environment. How many times have you made a bad choice about food because you just didn't have any food available, right? So you're like, I'll just go get this. I'll just go get that. I'm hungry. Like that's your justification. Well, I'm hungry. What am I going to do? Well, on Sunday, while you're watching football, grill a bunch of chicken and lean steak and rice and beans and veggies and think, okay, now I just have to scoop that out when I want to and throw it on a plate and throw some hot sauce on there. And now you feel good and you're fueled. That's changing your environment. I really, really, really want to pound this home today is your environment is going to determine if you're successful in 2026. The people that you're around, you're going to become. So if you need to change that environment and those 4 areas that we talked about today is the day you write it down, what needs to change. And you install automatic systems to make sure that you change your environment, which will guarantee success. I promise you, it's guaranteed. So whatever you need to change, whatever you want to be wealthier in 2026. You don't hang around with more poor people. You hang around with people that understand wealth. Last night in Naples, they do a boat parade, right? And there's little boats and there's massive yachts. It's like amazing, right? And I'm on a 85-foot boat. I think there's 3 or 4 bedrooms, right? Now the bedrooms aren't huge. And it's amazing. Right? It's about $6.5-7 million or something like that. And I was thinking, if I just hung around here, guess what? Do you think I'm going to be hanging around with people that have money or people that don't have money? I'd be hanging around with people that have money. If you're a member of the yacht club, I'm pretty sure you're going to be hanging around with people that have money. If you're a member of, trying to think of what the opposite of the yacht club would be, I don't know, the frugal savers of America, is there such an organization? Then you're going to be hanging around with people that are savers and not investors, right? And you're never going to get to that investor mentality and environment. Change your environment. Change your environment. Change your environment. I'm just going to keep saying it until we end this episode, but the episode is over. Hopefully those things make sense to you. I am so committed to making sure that you have to make 2026 the best year of your life. I'm giving you everything you need. Just implement it, and I promise you it will happen. Because we're going to wrap this up like we always do with the incredible words of Earl Nightingale. Whatever you think, you will become. Godspeed. We'll see you next week.
Here's the key to success and the key to failure. We become what we think about. Now let me say that again. We become what we think about.
Thanks for listening to the Breakaway Wealth Podcast. Be sure to subscribe to this show wherever you're listening so you never miss an episode. If you want to start increasing your wealth building ability right now, go to community.createtailwind.com to join our free online community and get access to free, in-depth training designed to help you build real, lasting wealth. See you next week.